Yo, Big Kish back up in here. We got a little boogeyman on our hands. That's right. We got a Candyman slash a Boogeyman Jr. on our hands, man. I heard one of the Tyler Creator songs, and the dude is fire. He fire. And all the rappers is scattering like roaches. Everybody is scared of that new Tyler the Creator album. And I suggest y'all, I recommend y'all, I prefer y'all to go check it out because we're about to let Fantastic Hip Hop break it down, man. We're about to let him break it down. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to react to it. I'm going to leave a link in the description. We got a new boogeyman on our hands. I'm telling you, you talking about rap. We got rabbit holes. We got all that. You know what I'm saying? Parables, allegories, you know what I'm saying? Punchlines, metaphors, all that. Yo, y'all know I don't like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Now, throughout this entire year in hip-hop, we have seen a series of moves that have went down from the biggest and most important rappers in the genre that have all shown one thing, which is that hip-hop artists more than anyone else in the music industry are more focused on fighting the powers that have been trying to devalue the significance of what artists put into the world, and now most recently in this series of industry-shaking moments. None other than Tyler the Creator is making a massive contribution to the music world that may change everything as we know it. And his album Chromacopia, which between what this album is going to sound like and what themes it's going to explore, it already is lining itself up to have the power to do something in the rap world that we hardly ever see just by how much of a spectacle that Tyler is setting it up to be. But now even beyond this, what is making this album turn more heads than any release in the music industry has in quite some time is that Tyler is releasing this album on October 28th. Which first off is closer than ever, so be sure to subscribe so you are up to date with everything surrounding this Tyler rollout. But now what's so significant about this exact day is that this is a Monday, which for the music industry, releasing an album at the beginning of the work week is something that you don't do, as releases have been pushed by the labels to drop on Friday. And seemingly every artist has been pressured and forced into following this trend because that is when sales weeks in the industry reset, which will give you the strongest numbers for the charts, which therefore will translate to fans that you have the most buzz and you are the hottest out, which overall just boosts your profile and will help you become a more successful artist. But now by Tyler the Creator ignoring this benchmark that the industry has tried to set forward and deciding to disregard the boundaries the industry has set up when it comes to releasing a new album, despite the fact that he will be missing out on multiple key dates to track sales figures. First off, it's showing a change in the demeanor from one of the biggest musical superstars in the world right now in terms of the total value they bring to the industry in terms of sales, streams, acclaim, and touring, as Tyler is showing the industry that he does not care about the optics and pressure that they try to cram all artists into following by releasing on Fridays, and instead, he is dropping Chromacopia on a Monday to best serve the vision and story he is trying to tell us. And now, fortunately, moving release dates to a different day than Friday is something that Tyler the Creator has been talking about for quite some time, because in an interview with Nardwuar in 2023, he said, "I think it's a slot of passive listening on the weekend. If you put it out during the week, you really have that time to dive in and really listen." And as Tyler went on here to call it disrespectful to the entire culture and creation process of music itself, to just throw out what you released on a Friday when everyone's attention shifts and schedules change, from here you can see all of his motivation to release this record at the beginning of the week, which comes down to one thing, which is that Tyler is caring about the very music and product he is putting out more than almost any other artist on the planet does. And by doing this, he can give listeners the chance to have more active and attentive listening experiences where what you are hearing is actually leaving you with a strong impression. And now, as Tyler has been very adamant about this entire principle for so long, as even in his interview with Maverick Carter in August where he dissed Ian, the whole point of that was that he was saying that the current state of hip-hop disgusts him as a whole because artists do everything but talk about and celebrate the actual music they are putting out, which at the end of the day is why all rappers and musicians for that matter are here in the first place. It's very clear that with this new album, Tyler is trying to set a new trend in hip-hop, which redefines and readjusts how listeners receive albums and then go through them. Because by putting a body of work out at the start of the week, people have the chance to live with the record while they go through their daily routines, no matter what that entails. And now, all in all, this type of way to experience an album gives listeners a much more pure and human listening experience where what the artist is giving you just has the chance to make such a stronger and realer impact on you whether you love it or hate it. And now for Tyler, While he has always released great albums, especially on the run we have seen from Flower Boy to Call Me If You Get Lost, and they have all left such strong impressions on listeners because they are such well-made and infectious bodies of work. Him going as far now to shift the release date model to make sure that everyone is able to listen to Chromacopia in the perfect state shows that for him, this album is truly going to be his most boundary pushing yet, and maybe even the most important release of his career. But beyond just the scope of Tyler and his art, this decision is so much bigger than just one person, because what he is doing is scaring the music industry. Because when it comes to the state of where selling music is actually at, Tyler's shifting where things are at and pushing for these releases where listeners can be much more attentive about what they are actually experiencing, challenges the very standard that the music industry is trying to build an empire of smoke and mirrors on. Because with the Friday release model that we are currently living in, getting more music than we can ever even know drops on a single night, which is right when the weekend starts, has turned music into this space where everything is so quickly received and then forgotten about. And because of this, the quick consumption of albums and songs has made music fall into a sensationalist culture, where everything is about numbers and headlines and nobody even cares about the project that was behind whatever.
Yeah, academics, that's all he care about is numbers. That's all he care about is numbers. Let's get it.
Narrative is being spewed. And this fast food, digestible music culture has also allowed for the industry to cut so much fun.
Look, this Tyler the Creator album is not no fast food digest. This is not that. This is something you meditate on right here. That's why I said we got us another boogeyman, y'all. I'm telling you.
And lay off thousands of workers and invest less into the products they are creating, because all of these pieces function together to create a system where the listener is getting an inferior product week after week because of how fast the table is being cleared and the next meal is being served. And so overall, with everything getting more lazy and generic by the day, at this point things are moving too quick for people to even notice. But now with what Tyler is doing, he is starting to turn a lever where things are switching back, and it is going to push the entirety of the music world to experience what it should feel like to sit with a blockbuster album and actually soak in its details, meaning, and narrative. And overall, for both the artist and the listener, this is an absolute win because it's going to build stronger connections between the people making music and the people listening to it, and allow for fans of musicians to start to resonate with music coming out in real time in the way that most creatives like Tyler don't just intend for, but build the entirety of their albums on to get the full listening experience.
Look, when you see somebody video with all this stuff and all these different scenes, that mean they got some good backing. They got some real good backing.
And also in the greater sense, if people are having more attentive listening experiences, music in the digital era could start to have more value like it did in generations before. Because in the past, when music was sold in stores, records used to come out on Tuesdays, and as we still see the long-lasting impact and staying power of albums from decades ago and from these eras, which both in terms of size and impact just seem to be so much larger than 99% of what comes out today. Hopefully Tyler the Creator's efforts with Chromacopia can start a trend where we start to see more artists shift their release dates to have these more effective and powerful listening experiences, which will give artists a better chance than they have had in years to have their albums actually have staying power. And we are already seeing a duo like Earthgang do a similar thing with their upcoming album, which is definitely showing that these types of sentiments are starting to be echoed more and more throughout circles in the music and rap worlds where artists really do care about delivering the best product possible. And now in a year like we have seen for hip-hop, in a way, artists trying to fight back and put more power in both their own hands and in what the listener is getting shouldn't be that much of a surprise, because from Kendrick Lamar, who has shifted how release models work by dropping some of the biggest songs of all time out of absolutely nowhere and even avoiding releasing some songs on streaming platforms to perhaps prepare for something much bigger in the future, to even Ye earlier this year with Vultures, which despite how you may feel about that record, it did increase the independent music scene's entire market share in the industry to an all-time high, which is significant and is showing that at the end of the day, artists really are the agents of change. Overall, it feels like what Tyler the Creator is doing is following in line with some of the greatest and most respected creatives rap has ever seen, who we have seen him all support, and is continuing the mission that they all seem to be fighting for, which is that in this era of music where things are becoming more disposable, and the industry isn't just allowing it, but it's actually encouraging it, the real artists want to make sure that a culture like hip-hop and the value of its music is preserved and cherished. And in an industry where everything is moving more and more towards gimmicks, and even there are being efforts made to replace the artists themselves, the only way that genuine creatives and the power of the...
He actually put thought into his album. That's why you got to give him his credit. Tyler the Creator actually creates he's just not Tyler the Creator. It's not just a name. He's actually creating.
The music will win over all of the noise and distractions. As if these innovative
Look. I've seen some clips. Man, he was making sounds. He was making the sounds and all that. He just wasn't relying on beat makers. He was actually making sounds from scratch, like that. Like, yo, bro, official, bro. He's really a creator for real. You know what I'm saying?
creators find new ways to shine through and cause chaos in the industry that is going to corrupt the very structure of what they have been trying to get away with. And with Tyler the Creator now really making the biggest swing we have seen in the market this year by now directly challenging how albums are released and consumed right while he is in the prime of his career and at the height of his popularity. All in all, it seems like Tyler the Creator has put more thought into this album than anything else, because with the rollout itself, which has broken his cycle of releasing a record every 2 years, and which has already broken his recent trend of having music releases around the summer, and now Tyler teasing what is gearing up to be such a menacing and intense record right around Halloween. And as everything from the branding to the messaging we understand so far is showing us that this LP is going to be the biggest leap into something new we have ever seen from Tyler. Him taking yet another leap before the record could even drop, literally by just how the album is going to be released, as he will be putting it out on a day and time that music listeners now, and a good portion of his fans in general, have never experienced a record on. All in all, it is pushing the boundaries in every way we can think of. And all of this is pointing to the fact that no matter what happens when Tyler the Creator releases Chromacopia, that the industry is going to be terrified of this vision, not because of the record and music itself, but because Tyler is sending a message to all the people sitting in suits who are trying to turn the music industry into a business where there are less people working within it, and the people who are in it are making more lazy and generic music, all while trying to make the most money and exploit the listener all at once. That by having the will of the people behind him and understanding the movement of changing how the album release date at its very core works, that the machine that tries to control the music can never be bigger than the culture itself, and with the right artists leading the charge who want to give fans the best experience possible, and no matter what they do and how they try to devalue art, Tyler will be the very mascot and champion to show that the industry can never win. And so now with all that said, let me know. What do you think about where Tyler the Creator is headed with this album? Because as we know it, every single thing we know about this LP is going to be putting...
Alright, we not done yet. Like I said, we got a Boogeyman Jr. on our hands. This brother's creative. Y'all know, listen, when you look at his videos, they well thought of. When you listen to his music, it's well thought of. Tyler the Creator's name isn't the creator just for shits and giggles. He actually creates. So without further ado, let's get it.
Now, after waiting more time than we ever have between his full-length studio albums, Tyler the Creator has finally released his brand new and most hyped up record yet, Chromacopia. And while just from a single listen, anyone can tell you that there is so much to discuss,
This the rollout, baby. This the rollout. Let's get it.
Discover and digest about this record, what's abundantly clear is that even with the pressure being higher than ever and Tyler being on what has become one of the greatest runs we have ever seen from a rapper in terms of just how amazing the albums he's been delivering are, is that the pressure has not gotten to him one bit, and if it has, it's only made him go harder, because from the very beginning of Chromacopia all the way until you finish listening to it over 53 minutes later, all throughout the record, you see that Tyler the Creator put everything he had as both a musician and a man into this album to make his most personal and compelling experience to date. And more than ever for his standards, which is already saying a lot, he put more emotion and personality than we have ever seen from him before throughout every single track on this record, which creates such a powerful experience that doesn't just engage you, the listener, more than nearly any other album these days can because of how captivating the prospect of all of this is in its sheer nature. But Tyler goes all out to make every corner and small detail of this project shake and stick with you for a long time to come, as he attempts to have us further understand his emotionality and most introspective of thoughts on a level that we have never seen up to this point. And speaking of going all out, make sure you are all in on the channel by hitting that subscribe button so you are updated on everything you need to know about Chromacopia, and leave a like while you're at it. And before you can even press play on this record, from the branding of the character Tyler is playing, whose signature prop this time around is a mask that's covering his face, to before you can even hear Tyler on the intro track and we hear the album's narrator, which instead of being a celebrity like Jared Carmichael who narrated Igor, or a hip-hop legend like DJ Drama who was talking all throughout Call Me If You Get Lost, the tone is shifted, and the precedent for what's to come next is never set in a more telling way, because serving as the voice of reason on this album is none other than Tyler's own mother, Bonita Smith, who kicks off things saying, "You are the light, it's not on you, it's in you. Don't you ever in your mother effing life dim your light for nobody, which is a super powerful.
Don't dim your light for nobody. He's the representation of expressing yourself. You know how many people out there want to express themselves with ideas and they never do because they worried about what everybody else got to say? There are people that have light in them, but dim it. They hide it behind a bush because they worried about the world and its criticism. You need to pop in some Tyler, the Creator. That's what you need.
Powerful thing to say when you understand that this is advice she gave to her son, and ultimately that these words serve as the frame of reference and compass that we see this version of Tyler try to find himself through. And so now with the stakes being this personal, especially compared to an album like Call Me If You Get Lost where Tyler was flexing to levels we have never seen, or even on a record like Igor where despite how emotional that album was, he was projecting everything through a fictionalized world all throughout. Here Tyler is in his most raw state in all senses of the word, and musically, even for his standards, which is again saying a lot. He just goes absolutely insane on this thing as he just shows off how versatile his palette is, and also how he can seamlessly fuse so many different styles together and put them all into one cohesive body of work.
I ain't gonna lie. I like when Tyler, the Creator, rap. When he said he's versatile and he put all these styles together, he actually can adapt to different styles. Like he's really like that. You know what I'm saying? Preferably, I like when he raps. Like, you know what I'm saying? He sound like, you know what I mean? Like he's straight from Brooklyn somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
And while on the biggest songs Tyler previewed before the record, such as the intro tracks Saint Chroma and Noid, these cuts sounded so intense and experimental, and hearing them in full they definitely are. The musical scope of this project is so much bigger than just this, and while when many artists try to expand their sonic reach too wide in one album, they end up failing and making their record sound like an absolute mess. And this was one of the worries some people had for this album, as it did seem like Tyler was shifting back into the territory he explored on his 2015 album Cherry Bomb. Tyler thrives by living in unpredictability here, and this really should be no surprise as when we look at the album run he has been on leading up to this. From the melodies of Igor to the rapping of Call Me If You Get Lost to everything in between, Tyler has mastered all of the pillars of his craft, and here uses everything he has grown into over the years to give us the ultimate highlight reel performance, where we will see him rap with more aggression and conviction than ever on a track like Ra-Ta-Ta, but then just a few tracks later create a hypnotic and atmospheric ballad like Darling I. And now beyond these songs just being a way for Tyler to show that he may just be the most versatile artist out in music right now, I'd go as far with that statement at this point because who else is really rivaling this range? Tyler also uses the different vibes and styles of the tracks on this record to masterfully architect the story he is trying to tell, which from going on this insane ego trip on Ra-Ta-Ta where he is flexing about everything he has accomplished while also reminiscing on the high points of his journey over the years, to then Darling I, where right alongside the bubbly vocals and beat, he is exploring his emotions and delusions about love. Tyler really sets himself apart from 99% of rappers and really just all artists today because his storytelling is so multidimensional, as it paints a grander picture than just putting words on paper ever could. As from the very subtle nuances in the instrumentals he is creating onward, every piece of his musical arrangements are all there to tell a story and give the listener the strongest emotional impact possible. And here more than ever, it really reminds you that whenever you get to witness an artist that is able to do this, whether it's someone like a Prime Ye, Kendrick Lamar, Andre 3000 back in the day, or Tyler the Creator now, it's really just such a marvel in of itself and is more definitive proof than anything else you can grapple with that highlights who are the sheer and utter best hip-hop artists in the world. And now speaking of being the best hip-hop artist in the world, another characteristic of these once-in-a-lifetime generational talents in hip-hop is their ability to curate an album experience and find the most creative and innovative ways to tell a story and make a track list flow and make sense. And now in the modern era of music and hip-hop especially, one of the most important parts of this process is of course the features that surprise listeners on this journey and masterfully gel into this crescendo the artist is trying to create. And now while Tyler almost had us and tried trolling us as he said there were no features on this album, as we already heard Danielle Caesar's vocals in the background of Saint Chroma, this already seemed like a joke, and fortunately it was, because the guests Tyler brings here only make this thing more exciting, and even when it seemed like Tyler may have went too far bringing in certain names and splicing them all together into one cut like with Sexy Red, Glorilla, and Lil Wayne on the song Sticky, he manages to somehow put it all together and make it work, which is just amazing and really an anomaly because with this posse cut between
He know what he doing. He know what he doing. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Tyler Weezy's Sexy Red and Glorilla. It's now joining a track like What's Your Name with NBA Youngboy from Call Me If You Get Lost as not just one of the standout bangers from the album, but due to the way it blends such a wide and shocking array of talent together and brings out the absolute best in them is genuinely amazing and a sentiment to just how fearless Tyler is as a creative at this point in his career, because seriously, who would just ever think to even do something like this and then execute it this well, and now beyond a mega collaboration like we see here? Other big names show up all over this thing, with two of the most memorable being Tizo Touchdown on Darling I, who just delivers some beautiful medley lines here that perfectly foil the performance and production of Tyler, and even more memorable and powerful than this feature, Chromacopia marks the first time we ever hear Tyler the Creator and Childish Gambino collaborate on a song, and after so many years of this collab being anticipated and desired by fans, we have finally got it. And while Gambino doesn't deliver a full-on verse or anything, just hearing his one-of-a-kind voice and amazing singing just change the atmosphere of the entire record makes it all worth it, and again, shows Tyler's rare-found ability to know how to use everyone he works with for the best sake of his vision and the art first, and not just the star power or marketing of the record by having a big name on it. And now joining this list and making for an arguably better feature than these, and maybe even the best guest performance on the entire album, we see Tyler the Creator and Schoolboy Q collab for the first time in years, and while on the snippet Tyler released of this a few days before the record drop, it already sounded amazing with its hypnotic yet tense instrumental, which just allowed for Tyler to rap with a sense of ruthlessness and urgency that we hardly ever see. Q only manages to make things even better here, as his haunting bravado perfectly matches the energy of Tyler and the beat. And now when it comes to Tyler the Creator working with rappers from Top Dawg Entertainment, Schoolboy Q isn't the only MC we see here, and while many people wanted to see Kendrick Lamar on this album, which while I get from a hype standpoint, in reality Kendrick being here probably would have taken away from the actual story and narrative of what Tyler was doing.
Tyler like him some Ken. Hey man, Tyler and Kendrick. Oh man, I'm telling you.
Here and just made whatever their collab was too much of a spectacle to release it at this moment, because based on the way Kendrick and Tyler keep showing love to one another, I'm sure they have worked on something together that we may eventually hear, but just not yet. But now in the meantime, joining the world of Chromacopia masterfully, we see Tyler feature none other than the rapper who Kendrick Lamar said is the hardest out right now in Doechii, on the track Balloon. And with Doechii getting the biggest feature spot of her entire career, she makes sure people will remember her name by showing off her one-of-a-kind energy and lyrical ferocity that makes her such an electrifying MC and performer. And with the energy she brings to the table here, Doechii really shows herself to be the perfect match to Tyler the Creator, and ultimately with all of these features perfectly molding into the world of Chromacopia, and Tyler really using every single voice as an instrument to enhance the project, even in such instances where he is using just a single Baby Keem ad-lib to create the perfect moment on a track like Him. Chromacopia makes for arguably his best use of guest performances yet. And now between this, the dynamic and detailed production which Tyler is the sole producer of aside from the intro track which he co-produced, while Tyler the Creator pulling all of this off is nothing new at this point, because on each album since Flower Boy he has only further harnessed all of these skills and grown them, I don't think people realize yet how impressive it is that now Tyler has delivered not one, not two, not three, but 4 entire albums that reach a bar of quality that few rappers and artists ever even reach once. And I mean, in all honesty, with many rappers who we consider to be greats, there are hardly any that have made 4 albums on this level, and really only a handful who have done so in a row. And with Tyler performing, writing, and producing on every single song here, this brings him into a tier that even fewer artists can hang alongside him in, because he has truly solidified himself as the ultimate artist you can be in today's era, as he holds more creative control over his vision than most musicians could ever imagine. And from the fact that he seemingly brought this world all to life with his own skills and mind first, to him literally putting this record out on a Monday where everyone can have a different and more personal listening experience with this record, because we can sit with it all day after day this week while we go through our own routines. All in all, every single aspect about Chromacopia, as we can see, is right now proving itself to be more than a game changer. And while there is still so much to discover and explore about this record, and I definitely will be making more videos going deeper into it because Tyler has left us with so much to uncover, so be sure to subscribe to see that. What's clear is that this is...
he leave a lot for us to uncover. I'm currently doing my homework on Tyler and Quando Rondo. See, this what I like about music, man. It's so much out there to discover, you know what I mean? Because, sometimes I get closed-minded as well. sometimes, these new guys come out. Me, I'm stuck on Old Dirty Bastard. I'm stuck on, you know what I'm saying? I'm stuck on some old 90s shit. And these rappers coming out with new songs, man, I be stubborn, man. But, I'm doing my homework. I'm being exposed to more. And, as I get it, I'm going to be bringing it to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
This is another great album, and maybe even Tyler's best yet. And the fact that even after all of this time, all the accomplishments and awards and all of the pressure, that Tyler the Creator is still reaching that bar of quality needed to captivate audiences and make them question if this record is the best project we've ever heard from him. It truly says more than anything else we could ever put into words about his artistry, and without a doubt leaves him as one of the best rappers right now and of this entire generation with ease. And so now with all of this said, let me know, what are your first thoughts on Chromacopia?
Yeah, man, I be close, man. I'm gonna tell y'all the first time I start listening to K-Dot. Man, I was out somewhere because I used to, rap or whatever. I was passing out a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was like, "Oh, have you ever heard this one thing when you passing out your mixtape back in the day? People always trying to tell you about they homeboys, something like that." Somebody was like, "Yeah, you ever heard of Kendrick Lamar?" I like, "Nah, man, bro, listen to this, bro." And I'm thinking he's trying to turn me on to somebody that he know locally. I'm like, man, Kendrick Lamar. Then somebody else said something about him. Yeah, you heard of Kendrick Lamar? No, man, what you keep bringing this Lamar, Kendrick, man, what you talking about? Man, I turned that shit on and got hooked. Hey, I turned it on and got hooked. Them beats was like, oh, I ain't know these new dudes was doing this. Like, wow, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's good to have an open mind to new, to new artists and all of that stuff, because you never know what you're going to get. So y'all let me know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what y'all thinking about the Chromacopia. I got to listen to it like 10 more times. You know what I mean? I'm just one of them. I'm the type of person that'll read something. I need to read it over and over and over and over until I get it. But yeah, once I got it, man, it's, I'm going to fall in love with it. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. Have you heard the Chromacopia yet? But yeah, man, I appreciate new art now. You know what I'm saying? With me growing, I got room to grow too. I got to grow too, But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone.